Could you talk a little bit about the impact that self-acceptance has on your vibrational experience? I've had the realization recently of increased self-acceptance.
Well, it wouldn't have to be self-acceptance, it's just acceptance. Mm-hmm. It wouldn't have to be self-allowance, it's just allowance. But the reason that you're highlighting this in this way is because awareness of self is something that's on people's mind a lot. Mm-hmm. So it is something that most people use as a reason to not allow alignment with that broader perspective. It's a subject that the word worthiness enters into. Mm-hmm. And the thing that's really interesting about that is that the reason that so many people don't accept the rightness of their being or the perfection of their being, and therefore don't allow the manifestation of the things that they want, is because they're so busy looking at what is and recognizing how many things they want that they don't have, and then using the absence of what they want as the substance of so much that they think about. Mm-hmm. So it's a vicious cycle. They notice what they don't have, and in noticing what they don't have, they don't allow it, and then they conclude that they are inappropriate or unworthy because they don't have what they're depriving themselves of having. Isn't it interesting when you look at it that way? And it's because they're trying to mix two philosophies that don't mix. The thing that gets so many people out of whack, and we've touched on it in 2 or 3 discussions already here today, is that, and you can't have it both ways. You've got to decide that you are the creator of your reality or that someone else is. Right. You can't have it both ways. And even in the discussions that we've had today, it's obvious that a whole lot of people keep thinking that something outside of them is still bestowing the goodness to them. Mm-hmm. When it's 100%, which is true in this sense, goodness is flowing to you, but your receiving of it or not receiving of it is totally self-inflicted or self-induced or self-allowed or self-denied. Mm-hmm. And so in order to have a discussion about self-alignment or self-allowing or worthiness, you first have to begin by acknowledging, I'm doing it all. I'm doing it all. I'm denying it or allowing it, but there's not something outside of me that is making that judgment and preventing me from the benefit. So the subject of worthiness, we hear your timer, the subject of worthiness implies that there is an arbitrator outside of you evaluating your behavior, performance, and beingness, and then giving the mark, the passing or failing grade about your deservability of whatever it is you're reaching for, and it's just not that way.
Right. And I kind of internalized that over the years.
Let's say it a different way. I practiced it. I practiced noticing. Right. I practiced noticing that stuff I wanted wasn't coming, and then attributed it to someone else's evaluation and therefore withholding of love and blessings to me.
Right.
And now, is it shocking or relieving to realize you were doing it all to yourself?
It's a relief.
Yes.
Very empowering.
So what were the words that you were reaching for that we moved them to worthiness? But what is the self what?
Acceptance.
Self-acceptance.
No self-judgment and perfectionism.
So in the easy way of answering it, when you're in the vortex, it's not just acceptance. Mm-hmm. Self-acceptance sounds like self-tolerance. It sounds like I accept myself as bad as even though I'm bad, I accept it. It's self-love. But let's take the self out of it. It's love. It's the ability to focus myself into love. And the only reason that we're having a conversation about self is because self is somebody that you think about way too much.
Right. Yeah. Well, I was using that as, it was kind of surprising, but that was what was keeping me out of the vortex.
Say more.
Self. I was being really tough on myself, and I remember talking to you years ago about what's the best way of doing something? You know, what's the best way of getting in the vortex? What's the best way of feeling a connection to, you know, my higher self? And it's just, again, I had really practiced this perspective.
Well, you know what's at the heart of that? When you say what's the best way, what's the best way always implies that there are a bunch of people watching me and everyone else and evaluating who's got the best way or the worst way of doing everything. Right. And that's why we never miss the opportunity to say, let's leave the peanut gallery out of it, because what they think of you is way, way, way not any of your business. And if you could stop trying to see yourself through the eyes of others and let it all be about how it feels, then this would clear up easily.
Right.
It's like this. So here you are, a perceiver, and this is perception. This is eyes, ears. This is perception. So you're a perceiver. And as you perceive that through the eyes of Source, you adore it. As you perceive that through the eyes of Source, you adore it. Because when you're in sync with that which is Source, whatever you are looking at, you are finding its positive aspects. You are finding its cooperative components. You are loving it. So when you are in the vortex, tuned into who you are and turning your attention on yourself, you adore it. And so it's not self-love that we're wanting to guide you to. It's alignment with love that no matter where you shine it. So we're approaching this, you were approaching this backwards, because what most people mean by love is, oh, that's lovable, oh, that's lovable, oh, that's not lovable. And we say whether it's lovable or not is irrelevant when you are love.
Right.
Because when you are love, you love unconditionally. When you are love, you've practiced the vibration of love, so only that which matches it is in your vibration. And so in the early days, we used to say to people, it's easy for you to love that, and it's easy for you to love that, and that, and that. You love the cat, you love the sky, you love the clouds, you love the sun, you love the moon, you love this, you love that, you love this, you love that. So focus on all that stuff you love till you get love, 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 love activated in your vibration. It was before we were talking about vortex. Love, 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 love. And then once you're really, really solid in the vibration of love, then turn it around at yourself.
Right. And
there's a pretty good chance you'll love for a minute yourself.
I did, and that surprised me. The impact of doing that one thing, having it one really intense time, it's like my vibrational footprint just grew. And I felt bigger physically, vibrationally, I mean. And so I was really surprised by that, and I thought, well,
in that moment, but you see, the thing that we want to say to you is that you weren't permanently changed. You just found a moment when you weren't resisting, and in not resisting and focusing on yourself, you felt love. But what we really want to say to you is, we don't care if you ever love you or not. We just want you to love. And if it's hard for you to love you, then think of other things.
Right.
Because loving, and eventually, is what we said earlier, and then we'll take segment of refreshment. So you've got this person that you know that's just bothered the life right out of you, literally. It just takes you to your knees every time you think of this person. So you don't think of that person because you don't want to be taken to your knees. So you practice thinking about things that feel good, and you feel good, and you think about things that feel good, and you feel good, and you think about things that feel good, until you've practiced yourself in this vibration, and eventually it's not possible for you to think about that person in a way that takes you out of the vortex, because it's just not in your vibrational patterning anymore. So whether it's another person or whether it's you, it's the same process. In other words, just practice love, practice alignment, practice feeling good until that's just your MO. And once that's who you are, then you'll find that not only can you love this and that and this and that and this and that, but you'll find the best in everything. And that's what we call seeing the world through the eyes of Source.
Good. Thank you.
Good time for